and welcome to episode 2 of In Conversation With, a podcast with me, Emma Nelson, where every month I am joined with a new person from a different career and they speak to you about their inspiring story of getting where they are today, their wins and their losses. And today I'm joined by someone very special, a community advocate, a boxing content creator and a Miss International UK finalist. Welcome, Jasmine Gadsden.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate every opportunity that I get to go on platforms such as yourself and, newspaper articles. It really makes a difference and it just talks about what it is that I'm doing, which is great.
And I think we should start off by talking about something that's approaching very, very fast.
Yeah.
You are representing Manchester in Miss International UK. How are you feeling about that?
I'm confident. You know, in October last year, I applied for Miss International UK after competing in the Miss Great Britain system for 2 years. I wanted to try a different system, so I applied for Miss International UK, and here we are. You know, it's on the 4th of July, and it couldn't come around sooner. I've done a lot of work since October, when I officially became Miss Manchester International, and it's come around fast because of the amount of work that I've been doing, and I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm prepared, I'm very excited, and I can't wait to meet the other girls as well, because we haven't met each other yet, or I've perhaps met one or two of them, but not all of them, and there's so many girls competing this year who are absolutely incredible and are all doing things in their own way. So yeah, it's a very exciting time.
So how did you actually get started doing pageants? Because I was saying to you earlier, I didn't know that it happened in the UK that much.
So in my I was 21 when I first started competing in pageants. I'm 24 now. So it feels like quite a long time ago. But my mum was the one who introduced me to it. She's never competed, by the way. She just saw an ad on Facebook and she sent it to me and she said, you know, I really think you should do this. I think you'd be amazing at it. Really sort of hyping it up to me. So I applied, and at the time it was for Miss Great Britain Surrey, because even though I don't live there anymore, because I still have connections to Surrey, I can compete. Right. And that's the good thing about it is, for example, with Miss Great Britain Manchester, which I competed in the year after, I live here. Even though I'm not born here, because I live here, I can compete in that system. So it's very catered to everybody. So I applied for it, and to be honest with you, I didn't think that I was going to get it, because I never knew pageants existed in the UK, and I kind of had this idea in my head that it was about appearance and money and all the higher things in life. And then I remember about a week later, I got an email back saying that I was a finalist for Miss Great Britain Surrey. And the emotions that went through me, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited. I remember looking at the email and I jumped up in the air. I was like, oh my God. And then since then, I've never left. I've competed in Miss Great Britain Surrey twice, where I then placed in the top 8. I've competed in Miss Great Britain Manchester. And then after that, after 2 years of that, I just decided that I wanted to try different systems, because, as I've said before, there is so many different systems in the UK which cater to everybody. You have Miss Bariatric, you have Miss Earth, you have Miss Wales. There's so many different systems, but that's such a great thing because it means everybody can take part, which is how pageants have changed now. Because back in, the 70s or 80s, which pageant girls talk about a lot now, is that back then it was about your weight, your height. You couldn't be married, you couldn't be divorced, you couldn't have children. And the reason it's changed so much now is because it's more about advocacy and what you can do within your community rather than just a pretty face. So that's why I love the Miss International UK system, because the moment I went and applied for Miss International UK, I felt like I was given a voice, And it's been just an incredible journey. And I think you can apply for many systems, and you may never find the right one, but I feel like I have found the right system for me, and that is Miss International UK.
That's amazing. And how have pageants helped you personally? Because I feel like it's such a, you do so much charity work, you do so much outside of all the pageants as well. Like, how do you think it's actually helped you personally?
So I would definitely say it's given me a confidence that I never thought I had. Confidence is a huge thing in general, and I do a lot of sessions with youth clubs and young girls and women about confidence and growth, and pageantry really gave me that. I would say I was pretty confident even before competing, but you are required to do public speaking, you're required to have an on-stage presence, you're required to do a 3-minute interview or a 5-minute interview to judges about why you think you deserve the title. So it's things like that which lead up to being able to be confident in systems like that. And I think it's just been a journey of growth and learning about myself as well. Because even though I do my boxing journalism on the side, pageantry has taught me a lot about how to be inspiring and motivating. The pageant community is a massive community, and there is a lot of inspiring women and a lot of powerhouse women in the community. And that can be students, professionalists, part-time mothers. It can be anybody, and everyone is so inspiring in their own way, and that really motivated me to do what I do.
And do you think you have a specific sort of woman or someone that you look up to that made you sort of like want to do pageants and that sort of thing?
So in terms of inspiration leading up to pageants, no, but I definitely have some inspiring people within in the pageant community that I look up to. One of them being Alice Cutler, who is Miss Great Britain currently. And she has a campaign which is, I believe, called Time to Grieve. And it looks around bereavement during work. So if you lose a loved one, or perhaps you've lost a child, or you were pregnant and you've lost your baby, it's really looking around bereavement leave and allowing colleagues to have entitlement to bereavement leave and being paid for it. Because the biggest problem is that you can take bereavement leave, but you have to take it unpaid or take holiday, which you shouldn't have to do that. So she's really inspiring because she's done all of this work. She's still campaigning for it. And it's things like that which encourage me to do what I do. So at the minute, all the charity work that I've done. So during Easter, when I done my donations to Manchester Children's Hospital, I donated 140 Easter eggs. It's things like that which the inspiration comes from people like her. And at the minute, I'm campaigning for period poverty with the Crimson Wave, where we're really trying to tackle accessibility in public facilities. So, for example, in gyms, we feel that there should be accessibility to period products for young girls and women who perhaps have irregular periods or haven't started their period yet. And it can be quite a daunting thing for you to happen to you, because as a teenage girl, if you're in the gym and you haven't started your period up until that point when you're in the gym and there's no period products, then where do you go from there? So it's not me saying that they must, like public facilities must provide for them, but I think it's just about creating some sort of accessibility so that women have that reassurance and young girls have that reassurance that they can get access to period products wherever they start their period. And alongside that, just period poverty in Greater Manchester is quite bad at the minute, and it's trying to help mothers, young adults who perhaps their situation isn't very good, trying to help them. So at the minute, I have quite a lot of donations for that as well. And I believe I'm going to be dropping them off next week. So there's that. And then I've got another upcoming campaign with a girl called Ebony. She is currently running a campaign around reproductive coercion and abortion coercion, which looks at being forced into abortion, being pressured into abortion. I won't speak about that too much because it's still in the making, but it's a very big campaign, and it is definitely something which really needs to be looked into, because it affects women not only in the UK but globally. And that's what Miss International is about. It's not about just helping, not only just helping women within your community, but also helping women globally.
Yeah, and I think it, like, you know, as you say about like period poverty and things like that, like, I didn't realise that was a problem, and actually after seeing it on your social media I was like, oh, is this a problem? Like, I just hadn't thought about it, and it's really interesting that just down our road something like that could be going on. So I feel like in your position to be able to raise awareness about it is so important.
Yeah, and you know, we as pageant women, we try and use our voice as much as we can. We really advocate for a lot of things, and as you say, there will be things that you may not be aware of that lots of women advocate for. You know, for example, Miss International UK, they fundraise for a charity named A Sisterhood, which helps women globally, but for example, they help women in India who have survived from acid attacks, or young women and girls in Gambia who might be in bad situations. So it's things like that which you don't think of, but actually there's causes everywhere which need our help, and we want to try and help as many people as we possibly can. I know that I definitely want to help as many people as I possibly can, but there's only so much I can do as one woman. So it's just a charity at a time, a cause at a time. But if there is anything else that really needs my help, then of course I wouldn't say no. But yeah, it makes it worthwhile if I can make that 1% impact every day, which I feel I am doing, and I can confidently say that I am doing that, then it really makes it worth it.
Yeah, and I feel like, I mean, it's all of that makes pageants what it is, isn't it, at the end of the day? And I think there's a lot of stereotypes that maybe we see on social media, on TV. Is there anything that particularly annoys you and that you want to be like, that's not what pageants are like, that's not what we're like?
So going back to the appearance side of things, I think a lot of people feel that it's very stereotyped in that way, that you have to be the perfect woman, you have to look the perfect woman. And it's not like that anymore. It's changed so much since then. And also as well, just I think the pressures around it. There is a lot of pressure when it comes to visibility and sort of public speaking. There is a lot of pressure. However, if you can be your authentic self and be yourself in campaigns and just show what it is that you're standing for, then that really does take away from the pressure. And not only just that, also the money side of things. A lot of people think that pageants is a really wealthy system to be in, and I
mean, it costs quite a lot, doesn't it, to actually enter a pageant?
It can do, yeah. So depending on what system you compete in, they all vary.
Right.
My system was quite expensive to enter, but I've tried to be financially smart about the way I do things. So a lot of my gowns that I've bought are from Vinted, my pageant heels off Vinted. I've tried to be smart about how I do things, and I want to encourage any young girls who want to compete in pageants to do it the way I have, because it's then not so financially daunting, but it can be. It just, as I say, it depends on what system you compete in.
And there are ways, I suppose, to make it affordable. It's like you're saying, like Vinted and things like that.
Yeah, 100%. And it's all about recycling as well. You know, there's so many women on Vinted who are selling their gowns because they've worn them once and they don't want to wear them again for another competition. And they're selling them for cheap because you know what Vinted's like.
Yeah.
So it's just things like that. You thinking outside of the box, and that's what I've been doing, and it's worked really well for me. I mean, I must admit at the minute I'm on the hunt for a new pair of heels because my previous heels snapped.
No. How did they snap?
Oh, I don't even know. I practiced my walk a lot because when you're on stage, they really look at how you present yourself and how confident you are walking. That's like a massive thing. So I practice my walk a lot and I practice my routine in my pageant heels. Now, the heels that I purchased, I was practicing in them a lot because they were new and I just wanted to make sure I was comfortable in them. You're in your heels for the whole of the competition, so it's quite a long time and your feet can kill after the competition.
How long is the competition usually?
So it depends how many girls you've got.
Hey.
So if you've got a lot of girls competing in the same system, it can take a long time. It can take probably around 2 hours. But as I say, it just depends on how many women there are competing. I believe this one is from 6 till 10:30. But I would need to double check that because I'm not 100% sure.
That's quite a long time to wear in heels.
Yeah,
I can barely go out.
As you can imagine, and in between that, usually they do like a break whilst they decide who's being placed in the top 20 and things like that. So as you can imagine, it's quite a long time. So I always try and practice as much as I can because it just helps massively. It really makes a difference, and they want to be able to see that you're confident in your heels. So anyhow, I was practicing in the gym, and then I thought, one of my feet feels a bit looser than the other, which I thought was really odd. So I've looked down, and anyway, the straps that are on the side of the foot, they just completely snapped. I don't even know how it happened.
In the gym as well.
Yeah. And that's the only place that I can train as well. So they've got like a studio in the gym, and when it's quiet, I just go in there and, you know, practice my walk, and it's a very big space. So, and they don't mind it, because they have bodybuilders in there who practice and practice in their heels, so it's not like a big issue for them at all. So there's that. So they snapped, and I've not found a suitable pair since. I'm really particular about my heels, just because we're in them for such a long time. I want to be comfortable.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So I'm on the hunt for a new pair, but again, I've been on Vintage and I've been looking. But I haven't found the perfect pair yet.
Well, I think it's interesting as well, you know, you're speaking about pageants and that sort of things and how glamorous it is, you know, wearing heels a lot. But then also you're really interested in boxing journalism.
Yeah.
Have you felt that that's ever, like, held you back, like people seeing you in a glamorous sort of way, or like how you found that?
So it's interesting that you say that, because I know that I started pageants before I started my boxing channel. And I think the pageant side of things gave me the confidence to be in the boxing actually, and even start my boxing channel, because it taught me my interview skills and things like that, alongside the degree that I have in the broadcast journalism. So when I started my boxing channel, it was one of them things where I thought, can I do it? Can I not? So when I started doing work experience and going to a few small shows and things like that, I then actually realised at that point that, I want to do this alongside my pageants. So I started the boxing channel, I invested into it, bought all the equipment that I needed, started going to shows, and it's really about who you know. And because with certain events, you, as like a freelance journalist, you might not have the opportunity to take the bigger events. So if you know certain people, they may be able to connect you, which means that you'll be able to get into bigger events. But in terms of the clash between pageants and boxing, I would definitely say that when I do interviews, I like to be presentable, because whenever I do something around my pageants, I make sure that I'm presentable as well. So I suppose I brought some glamorous side to the boxing, but I always try to still keep it professional, you know. One of the things that I'm really desperate to do is bring my sash to a boxing event, or bring my sash to a press conference and do an interview in my sash. But at the minute, I've not done much work around my boxing content, because I really wanted to devote time to my pageants. Having a job, doing the pageants, and also the boxing channel, it was really a lot of work, especially when I was editing my own content as well. It was a lot of work, and I had felt that I wasn't doing enough into my pageants. And that's really my fate. It's like a hobby for me. It's like a job, you know. It was, at the same time, I absolutely loved it.
It is like a job, isn't it, at the end of the day?
yeah. And that's it. If you're really devoted to it, it's like a job for you. And it feels like a job for me. So juggling 3 jobs at once, basically, it's a lot of work. So I took a bit of time away from the boxing channel and really devoted a lot of time to the pageants by doing the community work, doing the charity fundraisers, going to pageant events. And I feel like I'm at a place now where I'm confident in how much work I've done within the pageants. So I would like to start creating content again and getting back into the boxing, but I don't want to just get back into the boxing how I was before. I want to not make a statement, but I want to prove that pageant women can do the same as males in the journalism industry. So when I do go back to the boxing, I will be taking my sash. I will be presenting myself as not only a boxing journalist, but also as Miss Manchester International, because I think it's really important to break down the stereotypes that are still in the journalism world. I talk about that a lot. I've actually recently done an Instagram live around the modern woman and what the modern woman looks like in today's society. And as I said in that Instagram live, it's very important that we're still breaking down stereotypes. There's still a huge stereotype in the boxing journalism world, because it is so heavily male dominated. There's still a lot of work to do, despite the fact that we do see women broadcasters, but there is still a lot of work to do. So it's really about breaking down them stereotypes and showing what the modern woman today looks like. And the modern woman could look like me, who does a lot of advocacy alongside the boxing journalism. And I think that's more impactful, and it's just worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's the thing at the end of the day, isn't it? Like, your pageants have kind of, like, as you say, helped you sort of like gain that confidence. I think that's so interesting, because I feel like people would probably automatically assume kind of the opposite.
Yeah, and it's an interesting concept, because I want to give a little shout out actually to Boxers in Need. They are a charity who help boxers, perhaps if they've retired, if they've got any injuries, or mentally just need a bit of support. So they're a great charity, and they've done a lot for many boxers. And we have had discussions about me coming into the charity to help support them. And even they said, oh, you know, this is a really interesting concept, because we would never have put a pageant girl into Boxers in Need before, because it's just something you don't expect to clash. So I think it's a beneficial impact, and I think it's an interesting concept, and it's not a negative one in any way, shape or form, because we, as I say before, we do so much for advocacy. We're all about being a voice for those who perhaps feel like they don't have one. So if I can be a voice for boxers in need, or boxers in general who are perhaps struggling whilst doing my boxing channel, then it all just ties in well, and it's just a perfect combination, really.
And do you think pageants in the UK are growing? Do you think they are becoming more of a prominent thing in our society, or do you think it's going the other way? Or I'm just intrigued by that.
I think they're growing, actually. And the reason I say that is because when I first went into it, I had no idea. We see it in America. It's massive in America. But here, you would never have expected pageants to be here in the UK. And now that I've been in it 3 years, I have seen girls that I know of, perhaps from school or college or just in general, that are now getting involved in pageants because they've heard about it. So I think it's growing, and I think the more platforms we do like this, the more aware people become of pageants in the UK. And it's, you know, it's a good thing, because it means that we can, with the world that we live in today, I feel that pageants need to be a voice for the next generation of women. And I'm hoping that the next generation of women can look at us and go, that's what we want to do. So the more platforms we can get onto to speak about what it is that we do and why we're doing what we're doing, then it's better for us, because these young girls will see it. So yeah, it's definitely growing, and it's good.
That's really interesting, because I think that's why I wanted to talk to you so much, because I was like, I know we've met before, like we're doing our degree together, but I was always so interested. I was like, I just didn't know what pageantry was. I just didn't know like what you actually did in terms of that and how it worked in the UK and things like that. So it's really interesting to hear that it's like, you know, it has changed and developed, and it's not all about your look and everything like that, which I think is still sort of pushed sometimes, that that's what it's about.
It definitely can be. There's a lot of hard work that goes into pageants. It's not easy unless you make it easy in a sense that you don't do any work or anything. But it is very hard, and, you know, when you treat it like a job like I do, there is a lot of work to be done. You know, when you're competing in a pageant, you don't have to advocate. Like, it's something that you don't have to do. I do want to just say that now. You know, when you enter a competition, you don't have to advocate for anything. You could just go and compete, be on the stage, and that's it. You know, you could go home. But a lot of these girls have such a passion for it that they want to do the work, and they want to put in that hard work, so that when it comes to the interview in front of the judges, they have something to speak about that they're passionate about. And that's the same for me. When I first entered pageants, for me, it was just for the experience, you know. I just thought, I'm going to go in there, just see what it's about. If it's not for me, then I don't have to do it again. And now my mindset has changed so much, because now it's, okay, I've got a job to do. I need to do this and that, this and that, so that when I face the judges on finals, I can tell them why I would make the perfect Miss International UK Queen. And it's one of these things where when you're in front of one group of judges, you might not be what they're looking for, but you could be in front of another group of judges the next day, and you might be everything that they're looking for. So it really just depends on what they are looking for, and if they feel that you're authentic enough as well. Judges really go on a lot about authenticity and not comparing yourself to another pageant woman or someone else. And I think that's really important, because your authenticity shows you. It just shows who you are, and they want a queen to be authentic. They want a queen to have done work which isn't the same as everybody else's work. So there's still loads of ideas that I have which aren't in the making yet, but there's still plenty of ideas that I have which I want to make happen, and I will make them happen at some point, even if it's after the finals. But yeah, there's a lot of things going on.
Have you found sort of a community then in the pageant world?
Yeah, definitely.
Because it sounds like such a community, which is really nice.
It is, and it's lovely. I think a lot of people feel that pageants is a toxic environment because it's all women, and it's not. It's not like that at all. It's completely different. I've never had a bad experience with anybody in the pageant world. I think every single pageant woman I've met has been so uplifting, motivating, inspiring, kind, thoughtful. every positive thing you could possibly say. And the community itself is just amazing. Whenever you are launching a campaign or some sort of charity cause, everyone wants to help you. And when I launched my period poverty campaign, I think it probably had around 7-8 reposts. It doesn't seem like a lot, but actually it is in a way, because when they're reposting that campaign, it's them reaching their audience as well. So they are great. They're a great community. And if you ever need advice or you need a helping hand, they're all there for you. I went to an event yesterday, which was in aid of Cancer Research UK. And there was a few pageant women there. And it's just nice to be able to sit in a room and talk with women who have the same mindset as you. And it was just such a laugh, it was just so nice, and we had a great time. And a lot of the pageant girls hold events like this so that not only it's a get together, but we're raising money still. And Cancer Research UK is one of the biggest charities that a lot of the systems raise for. And I've raised for it in the past. I done a Shine Night Walk, which I raised £560. So that was massive for me. And we're always trying to raise money, and the community always support with that.
And do you think younger Jasmine would believe what you're doing now, thinking about like being a journalism graduate, like running for Miss International, and also your boxing content creation?
Oh, no. No, definitely not. I think when I look back, I wasn't sure about what I wanted to do, and I hadn't found my purpose yet. And it sounds really cliche, but it's really true. And when I entered pageants, I feel that gave me a bit of a sort of egg on to, find my purpose, because they're all about finding your purpose. They want you to know your purpose and why you want to compete. And I feel that I've definitely found mine, and that is to help young women, girls across Greater Manchester, empowering young women, doing these conversations with young girls in youth clubs about confidence and growth. And I wish younger me could see me now, because she'd be like, wow, it's amazing. And she'd probably never have imagined being in this position. When I was younger, I lived with my brother and my mum. My mum was a single parent for a lot of our lives. We lived on a council estate. Not that there's anything wrong with that at all. I was very happy there. My mum's actually only just left that estate that we lived on recently. So it was really sad actually to see our family home, move on. But we younger me would never have imagined that, because I came from that background, and I've been very fortunate to be in the position that I'm in now, and I'm very grateful for it. It's an amazing opportunity for me. I've had so many opportunities come my way since being a boxing content creator, but also in the Miss International UK system. And it's just amazing to see how far I've come, really.
It is amazing. And I have to ask, if you had one walkout song out of pageants and everything, what would your walkout song be?
That's a good question. I have a couple, so I'm going to share a couple with you. Okay. So I think my top one would be "Gimme More" by Britney Spears, because I absolutely love Britney Spears.
You can't not.
I'm a massive fan of Britney. I wish she was still making music now, to be honest. But I love Britney Spears. So that would probably be my walkout song. But if I had to pick a couple more, I would say, have you ever heard of that song "Labour"? It's by, I think her name's Paris Faith or something like that.
Okay.
It's a very strong song, and it puts out a very clear message about women in today's society. And it's just very powerful. And I think as a walkout song, it's as I say, it's very powerful. It gives a very strong message.
Yeah.
So that would be another one. And then my third one would be Breaking Dishes by Rihanna.
Oh, that's a good one.
You've got to love a bit of Rihanna, right?
You have to. That's such a good collection.
Yeah. So I love that song. It's like a power song as well. And that's what I'm about. I just, powerful songs, powerful everything. You know, we want women to be in power and feel empowered. And I feel like the pageant community are just doing such a good job of it already. And there is so much more to come. And yeah, it's just been incredible.
Oh, well, good luck in July. I'm sure you're going to smash it.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much. Thanks.